All right. Welcome, everybody, to another weekly live stream training that we have going on for you guys. Today, we have a pretty interesting topic that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk all about sales, right? That's where the money is. That's how you actually convert people. Believe it or not, a lot of people actually struggle a lot with sales. There's a lot of different components that kind of go into it. They have different mindsets. They don't have the right mindset about when it comes to how to actually close deals. So that's what we're going to actually talk about today. Before we dive in, though, I'd like you to give a couple comments down below. If you're watching this live, comment live below. Give us a couple likes, loves, give us some engagement. We absolutely love that stuff around here. All right. So I'm gonna go into that a little bit, and then towards the end, if I do have some time, I'll be asking. I'll host like a Q&A type of session, so you guys can ask me anything in relations to digital marketing or specifically to what I'm going to be talking about today. All right, so let's dive right into it. So essentially, the sales process, right? You first of all, you have to formulate a process around the things that you do within your agency. If you're going to do something more than 3 times, you have to have some sort of process there, right? You don't want to have like a gung-ho type of style where you don't have anything, whatever comes your way, you deal with it. You have that kind of macho man mindset. You don't want that, even though it may sound cool and all. But in reality, once you actually, start to do that on a consistent basis, because at the end of the day, we're all running our agencies, we're all running our businesses. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon, right? We are here for hopefully we're here for a long time. We're not here for 2-3 months, right? So if you just have that type of mindset, that's not really the right mindset to have. So you want to have a process around different things in your agency, and especially your sales process. So what we do is, to keep things simple, we break it down into our 2-step sales process, and the thing that we're going to share with you guys here is literally has generated us 7 figures. And for the clients that have implemented it, it's also worked wonders. And this is kind of like an accumulation of all the courses and all the trainings that we've also personally heavily invested in over the past few years. So we kind of picked the best things from here. We experimented with our own things. We got the feedback of how it performed. And essentially, this is kind of like the secret sauce, you can say, when it comes to sales. So, first of all, you want to understand what currently is happening, right? Before I go into the nitty-gritty of these things, you need to understand what is currently happening in the marketplace and what you need to do that is going to be different, which I'm going to share with you guys. So, what's currently happening, and this, I guess this has been happening for quite some time in different industries as well, and this is kind of the commission breath type of salesperson. This guy is just there to make a quick buck. And unfortunately, this type of persona that we've seen, that it just has messed everything up for everybody, not only in digital marketing but in many other industries. It's just a very, very short-term mindset that some people have. They're not really trained properly, and they're just trying to get that commission out of you. So what you need to understand is, you are not only there for their money, you're there to build a relationship. Once you build a relationship, you'll get the money. That's essentially how it works. You can't really close someone, people sense BS. Let's put it that way. All right. It's, people are very smart nowadays, especially with, like I said, all these salespeople just, going after that commission breath and stuff. People have been burned out. Salespeople promise something and they deliver, the delivery is totally different, and they're just like, hey, what's going on? So people are very skeptical, and they should be, probably, right? Because there's so many bad apples out there who have messed things up. So by the way, if you guys have any questions so far, comment down below. I'm looking at this at the comment sheet right here. It's right in front of me. All right. So how do you actually combat that? How do you set yourself apart? And once you hop on a call, how do you position yourself basically in a way where the client or that potential person that is going to sign with you is not feeling very skeptical? How do you do that? Well, it comes to how you actually generate them as a lead. All right. In this topic, we're not going to go too much into how do you do the marketing, but you want to have some sort of marketing channel where when these people come in, they're nurtured, right? A little bit. You can't like really, if you go straight cold, it could work, but you have to be a very great salesperson, and chances are, if you're an agency CEO or you want to be one, you probably aren't, right? Sales is a totally different ballgame. You have to be very, very skilled when it comes to sales. So let's take it as if you're like a general agency CEO, that's the kind of the mindset that we have, going around that. So where you generate the lead and what kind of content are you feeding them, right? Are you sending them some emails? You have to warm them up. You have to kind of like marinate them, right? It's not in a bad way. It's in a great way, because you hopefully are selling something of value, right? Because at the end of the day, marketing, when you sell a marketing service, marketing is one of the biggest levers you can pull in your business. It's one of the biggest, right? You move marketing, you increase money, and what money does, there's a lot of things money does. It solves a lot of problems, not all, but people can literally lead to different lives. So if you're doing their marketing for them, you could literally change their lives, right? I know it sounds cheesy and all, but that's the case. Brother says, love the content, the real OG. Thank you, appreciate that. So you need to have your marketing channel in a way where, first of all, it's consistent, right? So if you decide to do Facebook ads, for example, it's a pretty good way to get leads in. But once you get that lead in, you kind of have to nurture the people. So in our minds, the sales process has already started, right? Your goal before you get on the call, this is a real solid golden nugget. And if you're taking notes, by the way, make sure you guys take this. Your goal is to, whatever objections they have, your goal is to make sure those objections are taken care of before they hop on a call. That's the whole goal, right? If you are over here just winging it, they're gonna have a lot of objections. You're gonna be wasting your time. You have to disarm the client or that potential person, essentially, from that, right? So you want to deal with all the objections before they arise, right? So you can send them some emails, whatever the case is with your current marketing strategy. I'm not gonna go too much into it. You need to take care of that. All right. And none of this is gonna work if you don't have a lead generation system. So that's the first thing you got to do. If you don't have that, that's the first thing I would figure out. I have a saying that if you don't have leads, you don't have a business. It's a pretty harsh, pretty brutal statement, but if you can't figure that part out, there's no way you're going to be able to make it. So that's the first thing. With our program, by the way, we do have a program where we work with other agencies. We help them set up their operations, even if they're brand new, and then we help them scale, of course, right? Scale their operations, and that's the first thing that we set up for them. Like, hey, we got to set up your leads. Once those leads come in, then it's the sales process will figure that out later. So that's number one. You got to get that figured out. So once you actually hop on a call, what we like to do is like a 2-call process, right? So that's where the 2-step thing comes from. So the first call, essentially, this is more like a consultative session, right? This is more of a advisory type of thing. You're kind of understanding what the problem even is, because you don't really know the exact problem that person's facing, right? And if a lot of people just think that they should be closing and they should be hopping on that first call and they should be closing that person. That's not really, usually that doesn't really happen. You're going to get pretty bad results with it. We tested it. The best process is, first you have to understand what the issues are, right? Because clients, like I said, their BS detector is very, very good. They're going to know. They're going to know that if you're just, after that quick buck. So you have to act like you are a consultant, because you are. Right, just like the doctor's office. Imagine if you went to the doctor's office and they gave you they just gave you a prescription without looking at you, without you say, hey, go home, just take this, you'll be good. Would you trust it? Probably not, right? You're like, I haven't even told you what my problem is. So same thing. The first call, take it more off that type of role. You're not their friend. Let's be clear on that. You can be friendly, but you're not their friend, because at the end of the day, you're responsible for blowing their business up, right? With your marketing strategies. All right. So that first call essentially is kind of like a triage call, right? That first thing. And usually when potential clients come in, when these guys come in, their guard is up, right? They're waiting for that. Where's the offer? Where's the sell? But then you explain to them, you set like a contract of that call, right? Essentially, you let them know, hey, this is kind of how it's going to go. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. I'm not here to sell you anything on this call, period. So as soon as you say that, right, that's like the first maybe like a minute or 2 minutes in, you're gonna say this, and then their guards kind of just like go down, like, hey, even if I had a credit card, you're not going to be able to purchase from us, right? And we developed this philosophy, and it's worked wonders for us. And I just want to reiterate, like, the things you guys are selling, hopefully you guys have a lot of value of what you're selling, right? This is not something that, it's not like those psychological tips and tricks that we're gonna, this is not what we do here. We actually sell real value here, right? And so this is for people who, you know, who have something real to sell. And the people who are the potential clients, a lot of times they're scared because people, as humans, we don't want to adapt. We don't want to, you know, we hate change. Believe it or not, even though we're going through a lot of problems, for example, if you're, you know, in your life, you're going through a lot of problems, you still don't want to change that, which is amazing. It doesn't make sense, but that's just the way we're wired, right? We're basically the same humans as we used to be 50,000 years ago. We've, I think, changed only like 1%. So, you know, our adaptability meter is very low. So just keep that in mind. The things that I'm sharing with you guys is essentially to enable to help them change their position, because you have to make change, right? And that change hopefully is going to be through your services, right? So that's kind of how your philosophy kind of has to be there. So once you hop on that first call, another thing that you're gauging for is if they're going to be a good fit to work with. Okay, so this is, believe it or not, when we say this, people are like, "Oh, you're going to turn down customers?" Yeah, that's basically what's going to happen. If they don't fit the right criteria, if we're like, "Hey, we can't even help you," we're just going to turn them down. And there's so many people out there who still will try to get money out of them. That's wrong. It's kind of unethical, right? If we think that, hey, it's not going to work for you, or it's just you're not at this position at this point, right? You have to be at a certain level as a client as well, right? You know, mindset wise, financial, other aspects of your business. So if it's not going to work, you just let them know, hey, it's not really going to work out, and I wish you the best. And maybe you can give them a couple free things that you've created to give them value, of course, but don't take them on. And that can only come if you have a solid lead generation pipeline, which I mentioned is the most important element to this, all right? So you decide on that first call whether to qualify them to work with you or not. So once they're qualified, if they have a running business, or if they have some sort of something out there that they need help with, what you're going to do is you're going to offer them a free audit. You're going to say, hey, I'm going to take the information that I got from this call, right, which is their basic website, their social media, if they have any, their business model, just a little bit of that. You're going to take that and you're going to try to develop some sort of strategy of like, hey, this is what I would like to do for you, right? So you're telling them, hey, basically when anyone hops on a call with you, they shouldn't feel like that they just wasted their time. That should never be the case, ever. Even when they're talking to you, right? You should give them some knowledge, some insight, right? Again, don't be in a position where you're just like trying to hold information. That's not really how you build a long-term business, right? You have to give value first, and then you receive, right? I think there's like I can't remember who said this, but it was pretty interesting. You know, that person, very successful guy, can't remember the name, but they basically said you have to give 3 times more value to receive 1 back if you want long-term financial stability, if you want long-term wealth, long-term business, of course. So you have to come from that mindset of value addition, okay? So that's where that audit comes in, and it shouldn't even take so much of your time. If you have a team, it's perfect. Your team can take care of it, right? And don't think of it like a burden, because the ROI on this, even you're not going to land every client. Like no matter which sales process you follow, if you follow ours, follow someone else's, you're not going to land every single client. That's just the way the game is played. Okay, you have to come to reality with that. But the goal is to get you to have your chances have to be as increased as possible, right? So that's kind of the goal of this training. That's the goal of our, essentially our group. All right. So once you do that audit for them, you are essentially going to tell them what you're going to do for them and why it's so important for them. You're not going to go too much into the how it's actually done. First of all, it's just going to take way too long. You may have literally just write a whole book on it if you had to, right? Depending on how much knowledge and how much experience you actually have, right? So you just share the what is it and why is it so important, right? And you basically hop on a second call. You schedule that second call on that first call, right? So if they are a good fit, if everything looks good on that second call, that's where you are going to be going a little more into what the strategy of that of what you have developed, right? So you're gonna share with them, this is what you're currently doing. If they're doing any marketing, or if they're wherever they are with their business, you're gonna go a little bit into, this is what you're doing, and now this is what I think is a good plan going forward. All right. So it's more of a conversation. This is not, you shouldn't really have a super dialed in script. We do have scripts. We do recommend scripts. All right. They're important, but you shouldn't read them off like you're a robot. Have you hopped on calls with these people and they're just reading and you're like, I mean, it's not human. You're just reading a thing, right? And you're just kind of like sitting there waiting. When are they going to finish, right? So it's more of like the structure of how those calls should be, right? So that's essentially our script. By the way, if you want that script, comment script down below. All right, we'll literally give it to you guys for free. All right, for the people who are watching this live. And you know what? We'll be nice enough, and if you are watching a replay, we'll give it to you as well. All right, just make sure you type in script, and one of our members, either Mo or Amina, are gonna shoot you a message and give you that script all for free. All right, you can literally take that and implement it with your own agency. Right? This is we've moved a lot of money through this specific script, and a lot of our other clients. So it's a pretty good script to use. So yeah, essentially, when you hop on that call number 2, you give them all that stuff, and you have that conversation with them, like, hey, this is this is what I'm thinking is going to be the best way forward. If you have any objections, hopefully the objections are already taken care of in the beginning before they hopped on even the call number 1, and when they hop on call number 1, you actually take care of whatever objections that they may possibly have. All right, so that's the way to do it. When you hop on that, when you get on that second call towards the end, you're like, hey, this is what I have to offer. Here's the investment. By the way, never use the word price. That's for amateurs, right? Because at the end of the day, hopefully you are a high ticket agency owner. You're not one of those people who are charging $100, $200, right? People on Fiverr are literally doing that, right? They're not really selling you value. They're just selling you features, right? As a high ticket agency owner, you have to sell them on the results that they're going to get. And that's why I said it's very important that you know what you're doing here, right? You have to understand how digital marketing works. Whoever's delivering, if you're delivering, if someone else, I'm not sure of your specific scenario, but you really have to portray enough value to them. That's the only reason why people they'll buy your $5,000 or $10,000 per month, package for digital marketing, rather than that person who can do it for like $200. But can they, right? Can they actually deliver the results that person needs? Probably not, right? They're probably not going to be able to generate value-changing money, right, for that specific client. So that's why they're coming after you. They're probably shopping around, going to other agencies as well. So if you're high ticket, you better be good, right? It's important. And if you're new, by the way, I don't want you to feel like demoralized or anything like that. I'm just telling you the realities. If you want to get good at anything in life, you do have to put in the time. You have to put in that. That energy, and that's just how things kind of essentially go. So back to the second call, you let them know what the investment's gonna be, and if they're interested, if they have any questions, they may have a couple questions, and that's it. It's that simple. Simplicity skills. Remember that. So you shouldn't make things complex. How in-depth should the free audit be for the client? That's a great question, actually. Okay, we tested this out. So we literally had, for one of our clients, I still remember this. It was an e-commerce client. They were spending quite a bit of money, and we really, really wanted that deal. We really wanted that deal. So what we did was we made a very long audit. It was a couple pages long, right? So we put in hours of our time, and we were 100% sure we were gonna land that deal. There was no question. We were like, because the calls went great. Everything was looking good. We gave them the audit and just radio silence. And it's like, what? So we did have some contacts, and they told us they literally took that strategy and gave it to someone on Fiverr. So I was like, what? We were surprised, to see that people will actually do that. They'll just be like, oh, you know what? I got the strategy now, and here you go. Here's, they send it off to someone to do it for like I said, $200, $300, right? They're not understanding that person is not going to be able to generate, a lot of value for you. It's not that simple. It's not something I can just give you and you just implement. There's a lot of things that go behind actually delivering great world-class results, right? So that's when we realize, like, wait, if we give them so much stuff, first of all, it just doesn't make any business sense, right? Because we're putting in a lot of hours, we're putting in a lot of time, we're not really getting paid for it. And plus the client, so a few things can happen. The clients can get overwhelmed. Like, hey, there's so much information. What am I supposed to do, right? Or they're like, hey, just take it and give it to someone, and they're going to fail. They come back to us. These guys will come back. And I'll tell you this from experience, and there's going to be some clients that you land, right? You get them to a certain level. You maybe, like double, triple their business. And then they're like, oh, you know what? They get confidence. They get that ego up, right? They're just like, okay, cool, I got it. And then they leave. And once they're doing the work themselves, in 2, 3, 4 months, things start to crash. They're not professionals. They just got overconfident. And then they come back to us. And then you can see what you want to do from there. If you want to be ruthless, you can charge them double. You say, hey, I'll charge you double now, right, since you left. I'm not saying you should, but I know of people that do that. And this is what happens in the industry, all right? So I hope that was, valuable for you guys. We do, if you got overwhelmed, because I talked about quite a few things here. Usually I like to keep my live streams simple, but over here I talked of quite a bit of things. So if you are interested in working with us, we do have a program where we essentially help digital marketing agencies start or scale. So if you are brand new and you're like, hey, I want to get in this digital marketing area, right? This is the future. This is not going anywhere anytime soon, right? This is getting bigger and bigger. Look at TikTok. TikTok's now, it's great for us. We have more ad space. We can, we can get more clients. We can get them great results because ad costs are a lot low on TikTok, for example. So this is the best time to be around in anything like, in the internet, pretty much. And one of the fastest ways you can do it is running your own digital marketing agency. Right? So if you're brand new, you're like, hey, I kind of want, I'm kind of sick of my job. Recession is probably coming. You want something that's, somewhat recession proof. Service-based business is one of the best examples, right? Products usually, go down. Everyone is hit, but at the end of the day, you want your chances. You want to be in a position where you're hurt the least, right? And a service-based business where it comes to value, when it comes to wealth creation, you will not go broke. If you know how to generate people money, trust me, there's no way you're gonna ever go broke, right? So if you want to launch your own agency, or if you're like, hey, I already have an agency, I'm already doing 10K, 20K, 30K, whatever it is, but I'm kind of stuck. I can't get to that next level, right? So you can come work with us, right? Just a little bit about us for the people who don't know, because I did not mention what we do. We have been running our own agency called Canz Marketing, CANZ Marketing. .com for about 5 years now, and we've been through a lot. Like, we've gone through we've been through a lot, right? We started literally from nothing, and we started to grow that to a certain level, and we established our own software house that was born out of our Canz Marketing's revenue. So right now we have about 40 plus full-time employees. We started, like I said, we have an apps and games company there. We started a farm. We started all these cool things. Just to tell you, it just came from marketing. That's the only reason why I'm telling you. I don't like to share, my personal things that I have happening. But it just kind of shows you, like, how powerful this is. If you're able to generate people money, you will not go broke. You'll make a lot, right? You just have to figure it out. But to figure it out, that's the kicker, right? How are you going to actually... Like, are you just going to go off YouTube? Are you just going to read blogs? Sure, you can get some value. But at the end of the day, it's not really... You're not really going to see a crazy big difference, right? Because if you did, then everybody else would go for that option. So if you're serious about your agency, we do have an option to work with us. So we are offering a quick 5-10 minute call just to kind of see, just like I explained. It's a triage type of call. Is to understand your current struggles, where you currently are at your business, and whether it'll even be a good fit for us to, work together. So if you are interested, comment me down below, and I believe Mo from the team will be reaching out to you on Messenger, schedule a quick call, and yeah, we can, discuss a little bit about your current scenario and where you're currently at. Entree says script. Yeah, absolutely. We'll send that over. I can't pronounce your name. Parker's your last name. Says how much detail should you go into with the client on the first call. So here's the thing: there isn't anything that's like set in stone. You want to ask questions though. This is important. I think you shouldn't really cut corners when it comes to asking questions. You wanna ask as many questions as possible. Don't fear for that. Don't fear for that client saying, "Oh, too many questions." Because if they fear, like if that client says that, they're not a good fit. They're not interested in actually blowing their business up, right? This is something that you're selling. Like I said, this is life-changing stuff, right? Or else they probably wouldn't even come to you. They have to put in some time as well, right? So if you're asking great questions, that person, if they're serious, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you know what? This guy is really actually interested. This guy really wants to know what's happening." And sometimes I'll tell you, here's an interesting point. So when you ask specific questions, the client may go blank, or that potential client, they'll just be like, "Huh, I don't know what's, I don't know how to answer that question." And then they'll kind of start contemplating, like, say, "You know what? Maybe I don't have my business figured out. Maybe I need to." They start feeling insecure, right? Goal is not to make them feel insecure, but the goal is just to understand where they are with their business, right? At the end of the day, like I said, you're their, if think of them as Batman, and you are, what's his name? It just crossed my mind, but the older dude who's the advisor. So Alfred, I think that's the name, right? Yeah. So you kind of want to be in a position where you're consulting them. So hope that answered your question. I think that a couple more questions came in. Let me check it out here. So if you guys are interested, like I said, comment me down below. It's a quick 5 to 10 minute call. No, it's not a sales call. You can't buy it, even if you have your credit card, just to get understanding if we can even help, and if our systems and processes would even work for your current, your agency, or if you're brand new, we'll help you set up and start that. This is something, by the way, we created Build My Agency because we were like, dude, this is something that if we had before, it would have saved our at least 2 years. That's what we decided, at least 2 years, and a lot of money, right? We wasted through. So it took us $40,000 to land our first client. $40,000 in debt, landing our first client. We were young at the time. We were like, man, our lives are just, we're just kind of thinking like 40,000 is a lot of money, but it started working out, and we were making, it started going pretty. We started making quite a bit. We did have some dips along the journey. So yeah, like I said, we've been through a lot. All the ups and downs, the dips, and we've seen business, from a different perspective than a lot of people have. All in all, we have about 120 people right now. 120 full-time people working for us. That's pretty cool, right? That's I would never have thought, like when we first started, that we would kind of be at this level. But digital marketing, it's powerful, man. I'll tell you, all these brands need it. You see these brands going out of business. There's so many companies out there. Just JCPenney's probably on the verge. I think I can't remember which company it was, but so many companies are basically kind of going bankrupt, and they can be saved if they start going on the internet. But these guys are just too far off. So that's pretty much it. So if you're interested, comment me down below, and we'll hop on that call. All right. Can we try to sell our service on the first call? Most probably not. You probably don't want to sell on the first call unless you already have a rapport with them, unless you probably know them from before, unless you've, they've known you from quite some time. Most likely not. 90% on average, we do not sell on the first call. There is some exceptions. Like I said, sales is not linear. It's not a straight line. So, just keep those things in mind. And I hope to see you on the other side. All right. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. After this live stream, when I have some time, I'll go ahead and personally respond to a couple of your guys' questions. And for the people who want the script, comment script down below. We'll give it to you totally for free. And yeah, it was a great session. All right. Take care, guys.